It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to the Travel and Cruise Industry News podcast on this Thursday, January the 11th, 2024, coming to you from still a pretty breezy Forest, Virginia, Bedford County. Not as bad as yesterday. Well, I'll tell you one thing, folks. I had to go out yesterday, I had a doctor's appointment. By the way, I got all this, they called this morning, first thing, got all the results back from blood work and everything. Everything's fine. So that's good. But I had to take the chair out, load the chair on the lift, strap it down, drive to the doctor's office, unload it, unstrap it down, unload it, drive it into the doctor's office, come back out, load it up, strap it down. I had to stop at the grocery store, do the same thing, unload, go in, come back, load up, and then get home because I had, multiple loads of stuff going in. I had to take the chair back off the thing. The problem with doing all that, folks, the wind was blowing 45 miles an hour and it was cold as you know what. So yeah, that about did me in, but it was weather more than anything. So, all right, welcome to today's show. The main story this morning, of course, Icon of the Seas arrived yesterday. That's the top story. Also today, we've got legal challenges for the Spanish restrictions. Celebrity slashes port time. Silverseas changes itinerary. The Port of Los Angeles hits 1.3 million passengers. That and a lot more here at 11 this morning. So if you're listening via the podcast, you're always welcome. You can access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. All the big guys, just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the Fat Travel Guy. Today, folks, is National Milk Day. I don't drink a lot of milk. I have to admit that. I have milk when I get a bowl of cereal. I don't do a bowl of cereal every morning, but some mornings, I take my pills at 4 a.m. Then I can't eat for 2 hours. Well, then at 6 or a little after that, if I'm feeling a little hungry and I know that, my sister and brother-in-law, I won't see them until noon, I'll fix a bowl of cereal just to hold me over. That's the only milk I drink. I don't dislike milk. I just never drink it. But today's National Milk Day, so go have a glass of milk. Very simple. I did have a bowl of cereal, so I had some milk. One announcement to make, a sort of announcement. By the way, there's still some openings on the February 5th sailing of the MSC Magnifica. Don't put the G in there. Magnifica. $259, double occupancy. $328 solo. That's the starting price, folks. And it goes up from there. But those are out the door prices, including taxes and port charges. If you want a solo cabin, inside solo cabin, $328 done. That's it. Total. That's it. Now, if you want to add transfers, that's got to be added on. If you want to add a drinks package, that's got to be added on. But that's an out the door price. I got quite a few people going on this trip for $328. Nothing wrong with that. It's a good deal. At 7 o'clock on Friday evening, I'm going to do, that's tomorrow night, I'm going to do a live stream for everybody that's going on the Epic. Now, I'll probably post the link to join us on that on Facebook and, on my community page. If any of you want to join us for that, that's fine. The primarily thing is to go over the schedule, go over what we're going to be doing for me to answer questions. But by all means, if you want to join us, come on. Some of you may be wondering about hosted cruises and might want to get some information. Come on. We can do all of those things. So that's tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. That's 7 o'clock Eastern time. If you haven't done so already, folks, smash that thumbs up button. That'll help the channel out a bunch. Also, if you have not done so yet, please consider subscribing to the channel. We're on a nice little run here. We've added 45 people, I think it was, since we hit the 5,000 mark. So, by the end of the weekend, I'm going to be well over 50. I'll be at 60 or 70. If I can do 60, 70, 80 a week, that would be good. So that's new subscribers, of course. Hit the bell notification so you'll know when I go live or when a new video is up. All right. The top story today, folks, of course, is on Icon of the Seas arriving yesterday in the port of Miami. Now, it hasn't sailed yet, folks. It just arrived for the first time.
Why not? And if you don't have 3 other friends, make them all away.
In Miami, shows the water cannons and all that business. Icon of the Seas arrived yesterday at PortMiami. This was early yesterday morning, about 7 o'clock. As is customary when welcoming a new ship, the vessel was accompanied by multiple pilot boats, tugs, and traditional escort of fireboats with water cannons blazing. Even more fanfare was necessary to welcome such a massive, innovative ship. However, and planes soared above Icon of the Seas, towering welcome banners. On shores, crowds gathered at the official welcome party at the Perez Art Museum, Miami, to watch as the ship pulled into Biscayne Bay for the first time, carrying signs to greet the ship and her 2,350 crew members and 1 dog. On board, crew members lined the decks, waving streamers and clearly excited for the home port arrival. Also enjoying the excitement was Rover, the chief dog officer of the vessel, who was seen greeting crew members and posing for selfies and plenty of petting. So, all right. That is Icon of the Seas in Miami. And our own Katie is going to be on Icon soon. So we'll have a firsthand interpretation of the ship from Katie. I like that. All right, I'll be back with a couple more stories. Not a whole lot of news today, but a couple more stories after a quick break from one of our network sponsors. The next story, folks, comes from across the pond. Spanish government officials said they cannot approve cruise ship limits as it has no current legal standing to do so. 2 congressional deputies questioned government plans to manage responsible levels of cruise tourism. The government responded that prior agreement is first required with cruise lines, cruise industry service providers, and other stakeholders. quote, in the absence of the necessary legal support, end quote, the Ministry of Transport and Sustainable Mobility cannot currently enforce limits on cruise ships in response to written questions from lawmakers. The deputies want a stricter regulatory framework to manage cruise ship traffic and its environmental impacts. This comes as the Barcelona municipal government moves forward with cruise ship limits. The city recently closed the centrally located World Trade Center pier to large cruise ships. This pier is just a short walk to the Las Ramblas district. Now cruise ships will dock at the more distant Mal de Sat pier. City officials said this pier will have shore power in the future to reduce cruise ship pollution. Also this April, there is an increase from 275 euros to 325 euros for cruise passengers and other tourists visiting Barcelona. And last year, the port of Palma on the island of Majorca set a maximum limit of 3 cruise ships per day. Just one of those can be a larger ship with a guest capacity of 5,000 or more. The rule is effective until at least 2025. Palma is the top Mediterranean cruise hub, attracting about 2.5 million cruise ship guests annually. Now, what I still don't understand about this, folks, they say there's not any legal basis for the governments to do this, and yet the governments are doing this, the localities. Do I detect that maybe there'll be another change coming? I don't know. Seems like you'd know if there's legal basis for you to do something before you do it. You'd think. Anyway, I think the Spanish situation's still a mess, a big mess. That's just my thinking. Guests booked on the March 7th sailing of Celebrity Edge, a 6-night Tasmania cruise round trip from Sydney, have been notified that their itinerary has changed. While the ship will still be visiting both of the originally scheduled ports of call, the times in port have been adjusted for both stops, and one port visit has shifted days. While guests will still be traveling to the same ports, Eden and Hobart, Celebrity Edge time in port is drastically reduced. On the original itinerary, guests was to have a total of 43 hours of potential time ashore, 10 hours in Eden, 33 hours in Hobart. With the revision, the total time in port will be only 34 hours. 2 hours are lost doing the call in Eden, 7 hours in Hobart. While one could argue that the overnight call to Hobart does still offer a significant amount of time for exploring the destination, it should be noted that the hours trimmed are during the first day of the visit. Instead of having nearly 2 full days in Hobart from morning to evening, the ship now arrives in the evening. Shore excursion opportunities may be limited, and many guests may not feel comfortable leaving the ship to explore the port late at night. I'm not sure I would go out at a port late at night either, myself. Dinner time, yeah, maybe. But I'm not going to be out, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night in a foreign country that I don't know nothing about. No. Celebrity Cruises has not provided extensive details on why the ship's itinerary has such a dramatically reduced port time, other than a port conflict has caused the change. This could be due to other ships and ports of call, the availability of berth space suitable to different vessel sizes, or port operations that may limit ship or passenger movement through the port facilities. Who knows? That's with the Edge. Don't get to talk about these folks a lot. Passengers currently aboard the Silverseas luxury Silver Moon sailing in the Middle East were informed via letter yesterday of the immediate rerouting of the ship's itinerary and the cancellation of an upcoming segment. Guests sailing on the 10-night Aqaba to Muscat from Aqaba, Jordan to Muscat, Oman, and the 20-night Aqaba to Dubai received word of rerouting and cancellations by Captain Luigi Rutigliano due to circumstances beyond their control. And a quote from the captain: "Considering the fluid geopolitical situation of the area we are operating in, we would like to provide you with frequent updates. Our global security team is continuously monitoring the situation and recommended amending the itinerary of this cruise to remain on the northern side of the Red Sea," so said Captain Rutigliano. The letter went on to detail an alternative port schedule for the current cruise set to visit Yanbu and Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, Salah, Oman, and Muscat, Oman. The revised journey now takes travels to alternative destinations of Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt on January 11th, on Sukanya, Egypt on the 12th, and Safaga, Egypt on the 14th and 15th. The canceled Muscat to Dubai 10-day cruise segment, affecting current passengers and those joining the new segment, was scheduled to start in Aqaba, Jordan, and travel to Salalah, Muscat, and Kasab, Oman, Fujairah, Abu Dhabi, and Dubai, United Arab Emirates, Daman, Saudi Arabia, and Khalifa bin Salman, Bahrain, and Doha, and Qatar. The decision to reroute was influenced by recent attacks on shipping vessels in the Red Sea attributed to Houthi militants, which have prompted shipping and cruise lines to reconsider their courses. In the light of these itinerary changes, Silverseas is offering generous compensation to the guests. This includes a full refund for the canceled segment, as well as savings of 20% on any published cruise sailing in 2024, a future cruise credit equivalent to 50% of the total cruise fare of the current voyage was also offered to be used toward any future bookings made within the next 24 months. Guests also receive a shipboard credit of $500 per person. So they're doing a pretty good job with that, folks, I have to admit. A very good job. All right, the last story today, folks, comes from our friends out in Los Angeles. The Port of Los Angeles handled a record 1.3 million passengers on 219 calls in 2023 and is readying a request for proposals for new cruise facilities. So said Port of Los Angeles Executive Director Gene Soroka at his 9th annual State of the Port address. According to Soroka, each cruise call generates more than 1.2 million in local payroll and business activity. The port plans to issue a request for proposals in the coming months, focused on building a new outer harbor cruise and conference center. So, Los Angeles, I like selling out of Los Angeles, as it is now. But they're obviously going to make some improvements, probably some of the improvements so the larger ships can go in there even larger than they're going in there now. So, good for Los Angeles. Good to have a strong presence on the West Coast, other than Seattle, which is, part of the year. Seattle does great during the Alaska season, but the rest of the year, it's not suitable. So, good for Los Angeles. All right, let's go see who's fussing at me in the chat room today. Hot Air Tom called me a little while ago and said that he couldn't find a link to the show. I see he made it in. Success at Chillie's Cruises. Good morning, everyone. Pre-testing today for my 9mm stone, which was really bothering me. Not happy having to wait until next Wednesday to have the blast procedure done. Well, yeah. Mike's with us. Hi, Mike. Hot Air Tom says we made a tough decision this morning, canceling 3 cruises this year. The back-to-backs on the Jewel in June and the transatlantic on Viva in November. Just too expensive. Kenneth's with us. Good morning, everybody. Kenneth up in Pennsylvania. Dennis is here. Hi, Dennis. Steve's with us out in Kentucky. Hot Air says, great that everything is fine. Robert's with us. Hi, Robert. Gary Older Than Dirt's here. Hi, Gary. Jayola Sigun. Good. Icon of the Seas. Good to have you with us. 34 nights on MSC Meraviglia, departing from Brooklyn on 15 January for $1,397 per person. That's a 20 night, 7 night, 7 night, 879, 259, 259, 1397 for 34 nights. Wow. Wow. That's $30. No, that's $42, $43 per night. Very nice, Dennis. Jayola says, welcome. Well done. Dennis says, Tom, a kidney stone. Yeah, he fights that. He's fought that a couple times, Dennis. Yes, it's been with me for a while. Was on the X-ray in 2022, but not in an area causing issues. It moved during my Joy cruise and is now not good. There's Katie. Hi, Katie. Probably too late to drink lemon juice. Otherwise, drink plenty of water to avoid stones. Yeah, if you have stones, man, they're awful. I had one. I don't want it again. My father had lots. After the 3 years he spent during World War II in the hospital, where they fed him tons of calcium, and that caused kidney stones that affected him later in life. I mean, it was awful. He probably had 20 surgery, a half dozen times, including removing one kidney finally. Emily's with us. Good morning, Emily. Norwegian Joy is in Miami today and will be leaving on its transatlantic to Southampton this afternoon. I see a large crane on the PTZ, whatever that is, feed. Hey, Tom, have you or Chillie decided on what hotel you're going to be in prior to the Rome cruise in 2025 March? Or are you still going in 2 days early? Looks like things are either being loaded or removed for the dry dock coming up in Europe. Oh, I see what Tom Hot Air's saying now. Joy is changing the Galaxy Pavilion to a spa thermal area, so lots of Galaxy equipment could be removed to reuse on other ships. Yeah, no problem. I caught that should have been Chillie, Kenneth. I'm beginning to read translate some of these things on the fly. Also, one side of the observation lounge is being made into cabins. So lots of furniture to be removed and reused. Dennis says, that's awful, Tom. The observation lounge, a fantastic future. We loved the observation lounge. That was one of our great hangouts when I was on the Joy. Kenneth, do you mean in New York City? Normally stay at the Intercontinental on 44th Street. It's convenient to the Times Square from Penn Station. 7th Avenue subway is right next to the entrance to the hotel. One good thing with Joy Transatlantic to Southampton, it's 10 sea days with no ports, no issues with last minute port changes. Now that's true. Kenneth says, yeah, Tom, New York, thank you. The plan is to take Amtrak from Richmond to Manhattan, so we could go earlier if we had some place we wanted to visit in Manhattan. But I like 2 days pre-cruise. Travel wears me out. Yeah, I'm too cheap to go 2 days early out there, Tom. I mean, I'm doing it with you, but as a normal thing, I have trouble. I have trouble doing 1 day sometimes. So it's only a 30-block walk. Car for Chillie's chair are too expensive. Yeah, well, I can do 30 blocks. That's not so bad. I'm not sure I have any charge left in the chair. I don't know. I do seem to do okay with the chair charging, though. That 34-night Meraviglia cruise source is vacations to go. Dennis, does lemonade from powder work? Oh, Lord, no. I drink a lot of Crystal Light. Hot air, Tom, buy lemons. Lemons, sugar, water. Done. Easy. Simple. Ooh. Sorry, I'm an old lemonade guy. I hate the powder crap because that's what most of my competition used. I did the real McCoy. I like the real McCoy. I don't like the powdered stuff. Time you can get a takeaway from. Oops, I lost the chat room there for a second. Time you can get a takeaway from Wandi Siam on 9th Avenue. Fantastic Thai food, but too small to be accessible. Fresh squeezed lemonade diluted in a cup of water every morning. You should drink at least 3 liters of water daily to flush out the calcium from your body. 3 liters. I'm not sure how big this is. You can see what's in there. That's just pure water. Anyway, I do at least 2 of these a day, sometimes 3. Of course, I still drink way too much Diet Coke, but I am trying to do more water. And the only thing my doctor said that I have to do is go get my eyes checked. Again, my cheapness. When my glasses broke, I just went and paid for frames and put the same lenses back in it. And I'm struggling to see obviously the angle is just slightly different than it used to be or something in the frames. So I need to go get it checked. So I got the note right here from the doctor. Number 2, eye exam. So That's on the list for here in the next 15 or 20 minutes. That's not enough. A liter is about 34 ounces. We knew the eyes needed checked. Yeah, I know. They need checked. 34. So this is, what are these things? The big ass Coke cups. They're more than 16. These are 22 maybe. So if I put the two together, I bet that's close to a liter, Dennis. Because it is a good 2 inches higher than the Coke cup. All right, guys. That's going to wrap it up for today. Again, if you haven't done so already, smash that thumbs up button. And please take this as my, oh, hush, I'm not doing news station alerts from the Weather Channel. I'm on the air. Thank you just the same. When, where was I? Oh, yeah, I was getting ready to sign off. Take this as my invitation to subscribe to this channel. That'll help me out a bunch. And smash that thumbs up. All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Think about cruising. And one day soon, we'll all get together on the high seas, all of us at once. Wouldn't that be great? You guys have a phenomenal day, everybody. See you back here tomorrow morning. Have a great day.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you'd like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.